Okay, so good day everyone, and welcome to today's section. My name is Iyada Abdulwasil, and I am the lead lecturer for the business world environment. And I'll also be joined by my colleague, which is Ini, maybe by next week. He's also going to come in. So this is a very interesting course, not really more of computation. It's just what majority of what we are going to be talking about is what is computation, is theory, not computation. And it's a very word, at least the syllabus has been redefined. This is not the way we have it in the word in the last diet, which is May 2025, because in the previous diet, it was called what business management and what and finance. Business management and what and finance in terms of what there are some finance that was embedded in the previous syllabus, which is has to do with what computation in terms of what calculation of simple interest, compound interest, and some financial what mathematics. But mm, with this new syllabus, which is on business environment, the focus is on what? The focus is from the word business environment, because every organization you operate in a certain jurisdiction, you operate in a what in a certain environment. And we used to say that what in organization business environment can be divided into two. We have what we call the internal business environment, and we also have what we call what external what business environment. Business environment can basically be divided into how many? Into two. We have the internal, and we also have the external. So majority of the focus is usually on the external environment. And why do we usually focus on the external environment? Is because organization does not have control over your external environment. Organization does not have control over what external environment. The only business environment that you have control over is your internal. So, and you can control you can control your internal business environment by having a strong policy. By having a strong policy, by having some forms of internal control, having a good internal control system, having a good policy, and not just developing the policy, making sure that what people are following the policy, and that is the work of your internal control team. At least maybe some of us in our organization, maybe you work in the internal control department, or you have related with some of our colleagues in the internal control environment. Their purpose is to make sure that there's a compliance with the management regulation. Whatever the regulation that the management is saying, whatever the policy that the management is bringing up, we comply with it. So it's not just you about bringing up the policy. We also need to have people that would check it. Just like in our country now. Oh, they say financial crime is not financial crime is not good. Okay, so the government cannot just say the financial crime is not good, but they also need to have a party that will be that will be checking it, and that's the work of the EFCC. And maybe even maybe some of us, you can maybe during our NYC, maybe some of us joined the word. I think there was a word, there's NYC in NYC, there's EFCC or something like that. There's EFCC, there's ICPC, but I think during my own NYC, I was in sanitation. And that's not really that's not really cool because my own work during our NYC or CDS then just for us to go and clean, but I don't have option to change it then. So those are the work of some of the party, the ICPC, they has to make sure to check. So in our own organization as well, we also need to have an internal control that will make sure that every employee from the top management to the lower management employee, we are compliant with the policy. So please don't forget, the purpose of this class is just to talk about the general overview is not what. By next week, we are going to start it on more from the chapter one. So this class is just to tell us, okay, what are the things that we are going to be what are the things that we are going to be talking about. So if you look at if you look at the screen now, you can see our syllabus is divided into five. It's divided into what? It's divided into 5 areas. So the first area is what we call what? The business process and what? An environment. Every organization, you have a what? A process. And this process must be what? It must be robust enough so that you're able to meet your what? Your business objective. Your process in terms of, okay, let's say in the what? In the banking now, they will have a what? A process. A process of what? Okay, a customer now, I want to what? I want to launch some certain fund. As a customer now, I want to have a what? I want to do some withdrawal. So there's going to be a what? A process in terms of what? Oh, the the employee that is attending to me, there's already a what? A process that, oh, if someone wants to withdraw, these are some of the things that you need to check. Okay, if I want to withdraw on the counter now, okay, this is the form that I need to fill. Okay, and I present it to the words. I present it to this employee. Oh, there are some things that what the guy would not just, okay, I present a word, a withdrawal slip now, and it will just give me the amount. Oh, take the 5,000 naira and be what and be going. No. Was before he can give me the what the 5,000 naira or whatever the amount that I specify on the withdrawal slip, there's a process that what this particular colleague need to follow. Oh, you need to check the word, maybe the picture of the words. Oh, is it what? Does the picture match? Another thing you also check is the word, the signature. You also check the words, the name. So there are various process that the organization is going to what to put in place to make sure that the word, oh, it is the word you are disbursing this particular amount to the right words, to the right personnel. Oh, I give a check to what to someone now. I'm the owner of the account. I give a check to what to someone to withdraw now. There's going to be a certain instruction that, oh, withdraw, pay this so word individual 5,000 naira. Then the guy will not just what pay me the 5,000 naira. We also need to check, okay, what are the process? So the organization will also specify a process that, oh, if someone wants to withdraw a word now, I want to withdraw 5,000 naira and I was given a word, I was given a check now. Then what is my word? What is my means of ID? The word before the 5,000 naira will be given to me. There's also a process that is going to take. They're also going to do some words of verification that, oh, the ID that I'm presenting actually what belonged to me. And that's why sometimes we used to say that what original copy is better than photocopy. Oh, this is my word, my voter's card now, or my driver license. I will not just present the photocopy and give them. They will not accept it. They want the original copy. So all those process, what is the end product result? The end product result is to make sure that the business organization is carrying out is objective. Because if the process is streamlined and people are following it, the organization will be able to achieve your objective. Organization, you're able to achieve you're able to achieve your business objective. Because every organization you have a purpose. And we'll also be looking at what we refer to as a mission statement. When we say mission is the reason for existence of that organization. It is the reason why you are in what you are in business. Every organization will have a mission. When we say mission, what is mission? Mission is the reason for existence, is the purpose of the organization. Then once you develop your mission, you also need to tell us your vision as well. Your vision is your future aspiration that, oh, in 10 years' time, in 5 years' time, in 50 years' time, I want to be this, I want to be that. So, but for you to able to achieve your mission, for you to able to achieve your vision, there must be a good business process. A good business process that will ensure that, let me still be using the banking as an example. That, oh, I don't have up to 5,000 naira, and I said I want to withdraw 5,000 naira. There should be a process that would deny that amount that, oh, you don't have up to this amount in your words in your bank account. Oh, the signature is not worth. It's not coordinating with what you have in the system. The picture is not the same. So that is the purpose of the business process, is to make sure that we're able to achieve our mission. We're able to achieve our vision. So that if our process is what, if our process is what is okay, whatever external what, if there's any external forces that is what that is coming, we're able to what, we're able to defend it. So in business environment, don't forget, business environment is basically divided into two. We have the what, the internal business environment, and we also have the what, the external business environment. The external business environment sometimes is called the what, the macro environment. Don't forget, the external business environment is called the what, is sometimes it's called the what, the macro business environment. Why the internal is called the what, the micro. And don't forget, in this syllabus, in this subject that we are looking at, our focus will be more on the what? On the external. Our focus will be on the what? On the external business environment. Why is our focus more on the what? The external business environment? It's because organization does not have control over your external business environment. Oh, this is what now? This is MTN Nigerian World PLC. MTN does not have control over what is in their external environment. It doesn't have control over what the regulation of the word of the federal government, the policy of the word of the federal government, what the Ministry of what the Communication and Digital Economic is what. They don't have control over it. Oh, this is banking now. Like, okay, let's say assets now, let's say GT, let's say all those were big word, the first bank. First bank does not have control over what CBN will say tomorrow. Oh, CBN can come now and say that, oh, this so bank, you must not pay dividend for what, maybe for 5 years. CBN can say that. CBN can revoke their license. So organization does not have control over your external. The only business environment that you have control over is your internal. And you can control your internal business environment through by having a good policy. Not just developing the policy, making sure that there is a control over the policy. There's someone that is checking whether you guys are complying or not. And that is the work of your internal audit team. We also have the role of professional accountant in business and society. So as an accountant, what is your role? As an accountant, what is your role? You have a role to play. And one of the most critical role as an accountant that you play is to make sure that whatever any report that your organization is giving out to the public, it is reliable. The integrity is maintained. As an accountant, due to your accounting knowledge, oh, the company is making loss. Oh, they can ask you that, oh, you as an accountant, can you convert the loss to profit? So why is it that and that's why we'll also be talking about business failure. Some business has failed before. So why? And if a business is let me tell you something, everyone. Before a business fail, before we have what we call a corporate failure in finance, there's already an indicators already. Company will not just fail. No. Before a company will fail, before there's a corporate failure, there's already an indicators, only that maybe the stakeholders are not paying attention to it. The stakeholders are not paying attention to it. And if a business fail, one stakeholders that we are going to ask a question is the accountant. Because if you ask me now, I know whether my company is performing very well. I know whether they are not performing very well. So as an accountant, your work also has to do with a whistleblowing as well. And that's why in corporate governance, we'll also be talking about whistleblowing, which will encourage it. If there's any activities that is against the policy, whether the internal policy, whether the external policy, there should be a whistleblowing system within the organization. So you as an accountant, you have a role to play. Let's say you're an auditor. There are some individual in the public that does not understand the number. They don't understand what the debit and the credit is saying. So it is you as the accountant now that you need to what to educate them. Because if the management persuade you now, that will convert the loss to what to profit. And as a traditional investor, if I want to decide whether I'm going to invest in your company or I'm not going to invest, one of the things I will take consideration is your financial statement because I will want to invest in a company that is making profits. I'm sure that every one of us will believe in that. We all want to work to invest in a company that we're able to have a good return at the end of the day. And one of the sources of your information, one of the things that you're going to take into consideration as an investor is the company financial statement. You will take their financial statement into consideration. I will check it. Oh, are they making profit? So if they are making profit year in, year out, look at all those look at the bank, look at our financial sector as a whole now in Nigeria. You can see they are declaring billions of profit every year. So as a investor now, that is one of your principal indicators. Oh, Access is making profit, GT is making profit, all of them are making profit. So the accountant now, you have a role to play. Let's say as an auditor now, you have a role to play to make sure that the report that the organization is issuing is actually correct. What they are saying, the profit that they are declaring is actually correct. So you have a role to play in that situation. And that is where the auditor is coming in. Even you as an accountant that you are preparing, that you are doing the debit and the credit, before the auditor will come, you should be able to have an assurance that, what I'm doing is actually correct. The profit that my company is reporting is actually the true profit. Because if you are not doing these are some of your role to make sure that the report is accurate, to make sure that the report is of the integrity test is there. Because if you are converting the loss to profit, at the end of the day, people will lose their fund. And if people lose their fund, what will happen? There's a positive correlation that it will have a negative effect in the economy. Just like, for example, now business is closing. People are they are leaving. There's no the unemployment rate is very, very high. And in macroeconomy, we used to say that there's a positive correlation between unemployment and security. If there's no work, there's a tendency that there will be security issue. Look at some of the things that is happening in the North Central. Because as a human being that you have a work that you are doing, so what we'll be thinking of negative terms to be harassing people, to be burning people out, to be killing people. You can see that unemployment has some things to do about it. Because what's the process? What are you trying to gain? So the section C will also be looking at the management and organization behavior. And management will be looking at various management function. Management function like the planning, the controlling, the organizing, the direct, and decision making. Basically, there are 5 critical functions of manager. And among these 5, the most crucial one is not planning, is not controlling, is not directing, is not organizing. To me, the most crucial management function is decision making. Because why is decision making very crucial? Because decision making is from you selecting from alternative. In decision making, it comes from from alternative. You can, there's an opportunity cost now that, should I be in this class or I should not be in this class? Maybe some of us, we are saying, maybe I'm just coming back from church or we are somewhere, but still, okay, let me still attend. So there's there's opportunity cost is a decision making. And that's why we used to say that the most crucial management function is decision making. Because if you select the wrong alternative, you'll be planning on things that is not correct. You'll be organizing on things that is not correct. You'll be controlling on things that is not correct. And apart from what the management function, the planning, the organizing, the controlling, the decision making, we'll also be looking at what organization behavior. Organization behavior in terms of what? How do we motivate people? How do we what? How do we motivate people? Because as a manager, you want people to do something. We have a result, we have a goal, we have things that we need to achieve. So in organizational behavior, we'll also be looking at what different motivational theory. And the purpose of what? What is the purpose of motivation? Can anybody say something? Why do we need to motivate our employee? Oh, you know. Please, I've been speaking for like 10 minutes now. Can anybody say something? Why do we need to motivate? What's the purpose behind it? Yeah, now someone should just say something now. There are various reasons why we need to work to motivate our employee. One may be to work to get the result done. Oh, we have a what? We have a target. We have said that, oh, for 2025 financial year, our revenue must not be less than 2 billion naira. That is what? That is the goal. Now, our revenue must not be what? Must not be less than what? 2 billion. That is the what? That is the goal. Okay? So now we can set some words, we can bring in some hygiene factors, we can bring in some words, some motivation words, indicators in place. Now, if we're able to achieve what? This 2 billion, we are going to give what? Every employee will share what? 5% of it. So that is your 2025 goal. That, oh, the target is to what? To hit 2 billion as revenue. And the management has put in place something to motivate us so that we're able to strive to what? To achieve it. Let's say that they're going to give us what? 5%. So motivate or that 5% now is a what? Is an hygiene factors, is a motivators indicators for us to strive to what? To achieve the what? The 2 billion. So before going into details, we'll also be looking at element of words, element of economy. Like the word, we'll be looking at the unemployment. That we have different types of word of unemployment. We'll be looking at the word, how do we calculate the word, the GDP? What are the word, the component of what, the gross domestic word product? What are some of the word, the variable that is affecting the word, the GDP? You know, sometimes if you look at the words, if you look at our current word GDP now, and if you look at the word, the GDP that we have during the word, let me say during President Word Goodluck Jonathan, it's a little bit higher than what we have experienced maybe from 2015 to what before the new administration coming. What are some of the factors that contribute why our GDP drop? Maybe devaluation of our currency is also what is part of it. So what are the indicators that is what? Or maybe apart from devaluation, maybe some of the what the companies are what are leaving. Maybe some of the what the policy, maybe the monetary or the physical policy is also what is making it difficult. So as a result of that, companies are what are pulling out of our market. So those are some of the things we'll be looking at what in syllabus section what the element of what of economy, the employment. We'll be looking at the security. We'll be looking at the what the GDP. What are the monetary and the what and the physical policy. Then the new one that is added is the word, is the syllabus section what? The syllabus section E, which is technologies and what and data analytics. So there's no words. I can't think of any business that nowadays you're still using manual. There's still going to be a little bit of what of technology is still going to be what is still going to be involved. Even though your process, there are some of your process is still what is still manual. But in most organizations, even it is not 100% what automated, but we will see some element that is what that is automated. Like for example, now if your accountant wants to prepare your company financial statement, it's not as if your accountant will carry some books and start what and start writing and start preparing. No, 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 no. At least most companies will have some work, will have some ERP. Maybe you are using QuickBook, you are using Sage, Odoo, you have Microsoft Dynamics, you have what SAP. There are many of them. There's Workday, there's Zoho. We have what we have Odoo. So those are technology, those are what things just to make our process to be what effective and what and efficiency is what is there. So technology is a very, very important thing. But apart from using some of this technology, there's a lot of benefit that we are going to want to accrue from using some of this technology. But another area that we'll also be looking at is about what? Is about the disaster. How do we mitigate the disaster? How are we going to prevent some cyber attack? Because despite that you have your firewall, you have firewall that is installed. Your firewall may not be enough. Maybe you need to work to have some high DPS. You need to have some high PS. And when you are operating in a technology environment that we are seeing now, you have to make sure that you have enough a good cyber security. You need to have a good business continuity plan. Oh, if something happened in my primary site, is there any alternative site that can be used to carry out my business? So those are some of the technology that we'll look about the benefits, and we'll also be talking about the risks and how can we mitigate against the risks. And one of the way we can mitigate against the risks of technology is by having a good business continuity plan, by having a good disaster recovery plan. And we'll be looking at some of the data analytics, like maybe some of us in your organization, you use Power BI. There's some what there's some ERP that it is merely for words, is more for analytics. And I think maybe some of us, there's this particular ERP, call it OneStream. Very, very word, especially in the word. Most US company use it. So this is like the interface. We call it OneStream. There's a lot of words, report writing. There's Tigeti. Like for example, now in my company, now, if I want to present some certain information to management, I don't stress myself. So there's a word, we use SAP, but there's already a word, there's a report writer. And the report writer that we use is what is Tigeti. So meaning that words, I just need to say, okay, I want to see the financial statement. It will pull it out. So all the dashboard, everything, it will prepare it. So these are some of the analytical software that is going to make the work as you as a finance professional to be very, very easy. But the work is what? How will you now connect this particular word? How do you connect your OneStream to your Microsoft Dynamic? How am I going to connect my Tigeti to my SAP? So these are some of the data analytics. We'll be looking at some of them. So let's go into what details of the content of the syllabus. Don't forget, the purpose of today's section is just to look at the general overview. So by word, starting from next class, we'll be looking at it one after the other. So from the syllabus section A, which carries 25% of the word, which carries 25% of the syllabus, we'll be looking at nature of business and types and objective of business. So basically, I'm sure that some of us you know some of this before, like what is sole proprietorship, what is partnership, what is the LTD, the NGO, the alliance, the cooperative society. We also have the JV. Maybe some of us, your company, especially in oil and gas, joint ventures is very, very it's very, very popular in in oil and gas. So what are the advantage of sole proprietorship? What are the disadvantage of each of these various forms of business organization? Sole proprietorship. The partnership, different types of partnership business, different types of word of partner. We have the active partner, we have the sleeping partner, we have the quasi. There are different types of partner. So we'll be looking at what partnership in terms of what the general partnership. We have the word the limited, and we also have the word the limited liability word partnership. That's very popular now. We have the word the LLP. think I have a message. So the course that we're taking is what is business word, it's business environment. And what we are doing is what is the general overview so that at least some of us you have some idea of what are some of the things that we are going to be talking about up to what I think up to October, because the exam is going to be in November. So that is the purpose of this work, the purpose of this class. So yeah, the first part we'll be looking at what various types of word of business organization. And I'm sure that some of us will remember some of the work, some of us will remember some of these business organization. Maybe if you are doing financial accounting, you have sole proprietorship, limited, and partnership as well. So it there are some knowledge transfer from some of these courses that it would be really helpful, maybe especially if you are doing all the what, if you are doing all the four subjects. So these are the various what types of business organization. Then we also do what identify and explain various what business function. In terms of what are some of the functions? There are various business functions. Like the function that the payroll department is different from the function of the accounting. The function of the word we in finance is different from what those in what in IT. So there are various words. We'll be looking at what various business function. And this function must what? It must be integrated. At the end of the day, it must be integrated. Just like what we'll be looking at one theory as well. We call it what system theory. And what system theory is saying, or what system theory is saying is that we see the organization as one. So if one unit fail, it's like the other fail. So we'll be looking at what various business function, and it must be what there must be a link. There must be a link among them that what the payroll is doing. There's an input that other department is going to what is going to use. Just like it's like a garbage in, garbage out. The output of one function may be the input of what of another process. Just like in IT, we used to have what we call what job scheduling. You can automate this particular what job scheduling software. Like for example, now, if you log into your what to your if you log into your bank app now, there should be a lock that will be created. You should have some time, even some company will send you a notification that you have logged in at this so time in this so location. So once you log in now, that is like an input in one software. There's another software that will capture it. It to serve that is the output of one process will be the input of another process. So we'll be looking at what various business function. Maybe in the banking now, you can have what loan is a word, it's like a word, it's like a function. Receiving, disbursing is a word. So there are various business functions. It depends on the word on the business. The function of what company what in oil and gas may be different from what those in the words in the financial sector. What the banking is what is doing, it may be different from the pension company. Maybe the work that what ARM pension is what is doing now may be different from what Money Point Microfinance Bank is what is doing. So we'll be looking at what various business. Then another thing we'll also be looking at what in syllabus section A is the importance of business to its stakeholders. We'll be looking at the importance of business to stakeholders. And firstly, who is stakeholders? That's the first thing. Can anybody try? When you say stakeholders, what do you think we are referring to? Can anybody just give it a try? Or can you just give me an example of the stakeholders? I say, can anybody try? And when we say what, when we say is Okay, go ahead, Asana. I'm sorry, Riva.
I said like the employees.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, employee is a word, is a stakeholder. So the employee is a stakeholders, your word, your manager is a stakeholder, your shareholder is your stakeholders, your provider of your finance, the provider of finance like the bank, they are what they are stakeholders. Me as the public is a I'm a what I'm a stakeholders. The government is a what is a stakeholders. So we'll be looking at what various types of words, organization was stakeholder. So the question now in your syllabus now is about what? What are the important of business to its stakeholders? See, okay, as an employee now, I'm a stakeholder. So what do you think is the word, is the important of my organization to me as a stakeholder? Can anybody try?
Sorry, sir. I want to ask a question.
All right,
Sorry,
now go
sir.
ahead. So go ahead, sir.
Stakeholders are competitors, not stakeholders, or their
Yes, yeah,
activities is not.
yeah. So competitor is a stakeholder as well.
Okay,
Yeah, type.
okay, okay.
Thank you. There are types of stakeholders. Your supplier is a stakeholders. Your competitor is also a word, is stakeholders. So now, the question that what part of the things that we need to address in our syllabus is say what? Explain the importance of business to what to stakeholders. So I'm not narrating in terms of what me as an employee, we as an employer, maybe some of us are yeah, you establish your words, you employ someone, okay, that's fine. So but me now, I'm the word that I'm an employee, I work for some. So now, what is now the importance of business to you as an employee? Habiba, can you try? What is the importance of business? Your organization to you as a stakeholder. What is the important? Can everybody try? Say something now. I'm looking at this D part. I say explain the word the importance of business. So it's what to its stakeholders. So the stakeholders that we are picking now is the what is the employee. So I'm not asking the question that what is the importance of your word? What is the importance of your word of your organization to you as an employee? What are they contributing to you? Anybody?
As an employee,
Yes,
my
sir.
business is my source of living, so I will do everything right to make sure everything is working perfectly there.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. I do appreciate that. Yeah, say the way you call it, source of what? So to me as well, it's source of my living as well. So because I don't have one, even some of my partners, I don't know that, oh, actually I lecture. Okay, that's why. So, but my majority of my income is coming from my word, my employer. So if I want to buy something now, it's coming from my word. It's coming from what my employer is what is paying. So indirectly, they're like my word, my source of living.
Abi?
I mean, I don't have any other work. So that is what there's a lot of what contribution that the business is worth. Even if I'm not an employee now, let's say you're an what you're a shareholder, at least the business will work. If they are performing very well, if everything is fine, they should be able to pay me dividend. So there's a lot of things, there's a lot of what positive things that the business is contributing to the stakeholders. But mind you, there are some negative things that the business is also doing. But I think that is not part of our syllabus because we have a lot of okay, let's use oil and gas as an example now. Look at some of the what, look at some of the oil spill that we have in the what in the south, especially what I think some years ago, some happened in what in Bayelsa. There's some that has happened in what in Akwa Ibom before. And it affects the what the farming, even the water, you can't drink it. So who caused this? Is the business. So and that's why nowadays we have sustainability. Sustainability. We are not just looking at your word. Okay, you declare profit. Maybe some of us during our undergraduate, you can say that they will say that this building is donated by what? Is donated by this company. This book is donated by what? By this company. Oh, that is not enough. That is what? That is good. That is positive. But you as an organization as well, we also need to try as much as possible to minimize the negative effect in the society. So we also have what different economic activities that people do. Like some of us, they are basically in your syllabus, they make mention of 3 economic activities that we can engage in. The professional, just like you, maybe you're an accountant, you can be involved in employment, you can establish a business. So if you decide to go for unemployment, there's a benefit. There's also what? Disadvantage. That's why you can see what the F is saying that state the merit and demerit of each of the occupation listed above. So if you decide to go for if you decide to go for employment, you are not thinking of establishing your own organization, there's a benefit. And who can tell us one of the benefits? Because this is your syllabus that you're looking at now. What is the benefit of employment? Anybody? What's the benefit of employment?
It adds value.
Okay, Favor, what? You say it had value. In what way?
You know, it's true that I also offer value to the organization I'm working with. But
Yeah.
nobody is a monopoly of knowledge. While working in an organization, there are things you also get to learn. If not
Yeah.
from the job role you will find to, also
Yeah.
learn from your. By
Yeah.
so doing, leveraging the opportunity while working there, you also gaining more value, adding it to the one offering.
All right, now thanks so much, Favor. I do appreciate that. Yeah, value addition. Because there's something, and that's true. Just like the way Favor make mention of it, nobody's island of knowledge. So there's something that I don't know before I got into the job I'm currently doing. But due to the interaction that I have with people, some of my colleagues, they always say, "Oh, well, see, don't do it this way, do it this way." So, and it's a value addition. So I'm able to know that, oh, I should not do it this way anymore. I should do it that way. So there's a value addition. Thank you so much. Can anybody also try? What is also another word? Merit of you being in employment, because there are 3. I will take 2. Then
Offers security.
security. What? Okay, go ahead. No,
Like
they can also be going on sometime.
the kind of security I mean is financial
Okay.
aspect. It gives stability, something like that. When you remember that there is a place you could actually obtain 1 or 2 means to keep the life going, you feel secure there. At least you feel safe mentally or emotionally, or somehow you will not be boiled down to worry or the stress of not having a place where you work or something of that nature. So to
Yeah.
an extent, it
Yeah.
secures the mind,
Yeah. Thank you so
secures the
much.
mind from.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I like the way you put it in terms of to some extent, at least, if everything is fine, I know that my employment is secure. So, but at least for some time, you know that okay, at least maybe every 25, I know I'll receive salary. So if everything going on well, at least the security is what is there. If there's no any external disruption, I know that I'll still continue to receive that salary. So it offers some security in some films or whatever. So I think let's talk about the last one. Can anybody try? Thank you so much, Favor. What is the demerit of you working for someone? Please only answer this question if you're an employee. So maybe we that we are employed, what do you think is the demerit? At least I can ask you this in your exam as well. But please try as much as possible. There are some words, this is management. There are some things that you can give answer to without you reading it. Our own word, our generic understanding of it, we can give answer to it. It's not necessary that the way you have it in your word in your study text, you also need to put it that way in the word in the exam. No. So let's now move to the word. Can anybody just say something? What's the demerit? Then we'll go, because this class is just a general overview. We'll still be talking about it one after the other very well. And everybody say something. What's the demerit? Esther, at least you started it now. What's the demerit of you working for someone? And let me open one. One, there can be what health and safety issue because maybe some of us, there are some people that work at least work in oil and gas, and as a result of their work, there's injury, and as a result of that, they can't work anymore. So you can work, you can be in office and something bad will what something bad will come. So that is also another thing. So there's also what health and safety what. There's also health and safety issue. I don't know if someone wants to add to that as well.
I'll add, in terms of growth and development, you cannot grow beyond your employer. You cannot develop beyond your employer. There's like a limitation if you are employed.
Yeah, there's a limitation because if my partner does not resign, I can't be a partner. There's no amount of words. If that particular individual is still there, the employee is still there, you can't be a word, you can't be a managing director. So there's a restriction, to be honest. That's true. So thank you so much. So we'll be looking at what, don't forget in the section one, basically we'll be looking at various form of word of business organization and some of these words, some of these economic what activities and what the merit and the what and the demerit of them. We'll be looking at who are what stakeholders. There are various types of stakeholders that some of us has make mention of. Employee, shareholder, the government is a stakeholders, your competitors, your stakeholders, your customer, your supplier. There are many types of what stakeholders. So we'll be looking at all those. And what is the what? The contribution that the business is having on on the stakeholders, looking at the community as an example. There are some community that lives in our country that there's no primary health center. So we have seen some organization that are the one that build that word primary health center in that jurisdiction. They are the one that construct the road. So, but we all know, at least to be honest, that there are some negative things that the company also do to those stakeholders. But based on our syllabus, we're only looking at the positive things that the company contribute to each of the stakeholders. So we'll also be looking at what organization was structure. If we don't call it organization structure, we'll also be calling it what organization charts. Or sometimes we can call it what organization organogram. So those are some of the words. You can call it what organization chart. You can also call it what organization what organogram. So we have different types of words, different types of organization structure. And we'll also be looking at how organization is being Look at the first one. They say explain the basic characteristics and purpose of the following organization structure. The basic and the characteristics of this. So we'll be looking at when we say a centralized organization structure. So I will explain centralized organization structure. So please listen and then I'll ask question on the decentralized. So when we say centralized organization structure, what it simply means is that, let me put it this way, head office control everything. Head office do what? Head office control everything. Let's say you are the branch manager in what now? In Romokoro in Port Harcourt. I think there's UBA in Romokoro, maybe some of us that are from River State. There's one UBA in Romokoro in Port Harcourt. So that branch manager in Romokoro in Port Harcourt now, if you want to make any decision, you have to send a mail to the head office in Marina in Lagos. That is a central, that's like a word. I'm just trying to explain it in a low way. That is like a form of centralization. There's no autonomous, there's no independent that is given to the divisional manager. If the divisional manager wants to take any action or take any activities, you send a mail, you wait for approval from the head office. That is like a centralized system. So can anybody now try now? What's decentralized? What do you think would be decentralized? Anybody? Don't let us make it boring. Just try as much as possible to contribute as well. So let me take one before we go, which is decentralized, like the opposite. So the decentralized in terms of what the branch manager also have some word. There's an independent. The branch manager in Rumokoro in Port Harcourt now can take some certain decision for that particular branch without having to send the mail to the head office. That is like a decentralized word. A decentralized form. A decentralized in terms of, don't forget, the branch manager can take decision for the branch. I am the branch manager in Rumokoro now. I can take decision for my branch in Rumokoro. The branch manager in Rumaolu now can also take decision for the Rumaolu branch without having to send the mail to the head office. So now, let me now ask this question before we go, which is B. What do you now think is the advantage of centralization? I just need that one. What do you think is the advantage of centralizing it, whereby the branch manager in that Rumokoro that I'm using as an example now must send a mail to the head office? Mr. Mohammed, please go ahead. Thank you so much. Unmute yourself, please.
Thank you so much, sir. I think one of the advantages is that there will be control of funds, and there will be a kind of control on corruption, because everything is centralized. You have to be audited before you take any further action.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Mohammed. And that's it. Because if there's a centralized, even from the reporting side of it, it will be very, very easy. Let's say you as an accountant now. If it is centralized, it will be very easy for you because you know that everything will come from the head office. The approval is coming. So I can relate to the central accountant. Oh, please send me this invoice. I need the approval note of this. It's not as if I'll send a message to those in the head office. They'll say that, we don't have this document. Let's send the mail to the branch accountant. No, that one will not occur. Because the trail will come it originated from Umaolu, then it's go to the head office. The head office will do the work, whether they will approve or they will disapprove. So even from a documented form, it will be very, very easy because I will know that all the approval is coming from is coming from the head office. So now, thank you so much. Let's not talk about the final one. Can anybody tell us what will be the disadvantage when you centralize everything? Please don't forget, this is management. Just try as much as possible to understand the terms. Don't stress yourself. What you should be interested in is the meaning. What is the meaning of centralization? Centralization is that everything is done by the head office. You are working at the branch now. You are the branch manager. You can't take any decision. It's the head office that will do the approval. Decentralized in terms of you as a branch manager, you can take decision for your words. So please, our driving force in this particular course that we are just starting now is just try as much as possible to understand the term. Understand it. Forget about what you have in your study text. It doesn't work. It doesn't have to coordinate. But the meaning will coordinate. But how it was being phrased in your study text may be different from the way you phrase it in the exam. It's your understanding that they're interested in, not the way you presented it. It is like this in the study text. In the exam, you also dump it like that. No. It's the understanding that really matters. So what is the disadvantage? Okay, Mr. Mohammed, if you want to give it, Okay, Madam Jumoke, go ahead. Thank you so much. Let me also hear from you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think one of the disadvantages is that it slows down response to local issues.
Yeah.
It slows down response.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yes, I get it. Slow it down because you have to be waiting. And there are some decisions that you need to take on time. You need to just, there are some things that you need to approve. In IT, there's something that we used to call emergency change. Or we used to say emergency approval. There are some things that you must approve. It must not you must approve it today. It must not be tomorrow. Especially when you have something of or we used to say emergency change or emergency approval. It has to go today. But in a decentralized system, maybe the director that will approve at the head office is on leave. So sometimes you ask the branch accountant, okay, we see the trail, you originated. Say it's still with the head office. The head office has not approved. And sometimes in assurance, it will frustrate you as well sometimes, especially if you work in the branch. And majority of, let's say you're even relating with a supplier, and the supplier has been stressing you that you guys should pay us now. And you're still saying, okay, please come back tomorrow, this and that. The head office is still deliberating on it. So it slowed down some critical decision making sometimes, to be honest. And that is why some organization, there are some organizations that want to use a mix of the two. They want to centralize and they also want to decentralize. In some time, if they don't want to use a full decentralization, they are not going to put a control in place in terms of they can say that, oh, the branch manager, you can approve anything that is less than 5 million. Anything that is greater than 5 million, you send it to what? You send it to the head office. So if they are doing that they don't want to go fully decentralized. They still want to control, just like in finance, they can say that, oh, maybe the senior accountant, anything that is not greater than 2 million, the senior accountant can approve. Anything that is greater than 50 million, the MD must also approve, not only the CFO or the head of finance. Okay, so thanks so much, Madam. Okay. It slow down decision making sometimes, to be honest. Mr. Mohammed or anybody, do you want to add to that as well? What's the disadvantage?
Well, sir, it also brings about improper growth of the centers. Sometimes the headquarters do budget or consider themselves more than the centers, thereby neglecting the growth of the people at the centers and the center at large.
Yeah, to be honest, if it is somewhat, I don't work in bank, not sure. But Mr. Mohammed, the comment that you make now, it's like, I think someone has told me before, there's one of my friends that work in bank. I usually say that, but he's working in the head office now. He said that his head office staff that they used to promote very well. Like maybe the word people that are working in branch, maybe their promotion is a little bit not as fast as those that is working in the head office. I don't know whether it is true because I've never worked in
Very true, sir. Very true.
Okay, that's fine. Maybe so there's one of my friends that said that those in head office, their words. That their promotion is just that, okay, I don't know the grading in banking. That this one maybe that BO, you just saying that you have turned to maybe senior banking officer, or how do you guys used to rate it? And
all happenings are in head office, sir. All happenings are in head office. They just consider people working at the branches as their boys.
And to be honest, it shouldn't be like that. Everybody should have the same word hierarchy. At least we enter the same company. Then if you are a manager now, I should also be a manager. Oh, you are a senior consultant, I should also be a senior consultant at the same time. So don't worry, got to make it easy. Favor, I think you want to make mention of something. Why words? You want to say anything?
At times, they need to take the decentralized unaware.
Please, can you come again? Sorry.
I said at times they tend to take decentralized organizations unaware, since they are the main body that controls the decision making.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, they are the words. There's one aspect of our syllabus we'll talk about that. They are like the apex thing. Is under this organization structure we'll be talking about. They are like the top people, and whatever anything they say is the final. So another thing that we'll be looking at, okay, let me take another one. Let's say identify the factor that may influence management choice of the organization structure. So let's take this one, see, then we'll go to number 3. So can anybody try? They say identify the factor that may influence the management choice of the organization structure. So whether we are going forward, let's just limit it because they are like what? They are like 5. So there's still metrics, there's still network, and there's still virtual. Virtual used in terms of what? Of IT. Maybe you work in what now? Some organization that they may just have one mini office, but their operation is what is decentralized. And virtual environment, the use of what? IT. At least maybe some of us now, maybe you have been working for your home at least since the beginning of this year. I only went to office last week. Last week, Wednesday. I've never been to office throughout the world from the whole of 21 or the whole of 2025. I only went once. So what is now work now? Identify the factor that may influence the management choice. Can anybody work? Oh, if you are going forward, let's say we are going for centralized or decentralized now. What do you think will be what? It's going to be the factors that will influence it. Anybody? Just think of it now. What will be the factors? If management is saying that, we are going for centralized, we are going for decentralized, what will be the factors? And I hope you guys are understanding this thing. And the purpose of me taking you through all this is to show you that there are some things, at least have I shared any notes? No. We are just walking through what the syllabus is saying. But there are some things that you can provide answer to without you. This is management. Don't forget that. Just try as much as possible. Read the word very well and try to as much as possible to digest this. So we are limiting it to what? To 2 now. Centralized and what? Decentralized. If organization is going forward for a centralized now, what is the reason why they are doing so? What's the factors that may influence management choice of organization structure? Can anybody try, please? Let me hear from you guys, please.
Nature of business.
All right, now, go ahead, sir. Nature of business, that's fine. Right. Can you explain further, sir?
If a company or organization is into trading, it will go a long way in determining their choice of structure, how they are set up, and all of that. A trading company cannot, except for those that produce and then sell. A trading company can opt for total online. That's the e-commerce structure. They don't have to have a physical office and all of that. They can just go online straight. But if it's the one that produces and then sells, they might say they want to open physical offices, whether nationwide or statewide.
Thank you. So thanks so much. At least my mom's shop is in Lagos Island, so she can never think of what going for. She can never think of thinking of any e-commerce, maybe like Jumia or something. So you still need to open shop in Balugo. Abiba, let me hear from you. I think you raise up your hand. What would be the factors that would determine that?
I would say, like in the banking industry, if the transaction depends on the amount of that transaction. So something with in a large scale, you need approval from the head of.
At least, and thanks so much. At least we can say categorize it as well. Okay, nature of the business as well, or maybe the nature of the transaction can also work. Yes, let's put it as well. The factors that can influence is what? The nature of the transaction. And that's why I make mention earlier. There are some organizations that can say that, anything that is greater than what? 50 million. The CFO and the MD must also approve that. So the signature of the MD must also be there. Thank you so much. Mr. Mohammed, let me also hear from you. What will be the factors that will determine the choice? Whether we are going for
one of the factors will be funds control.
Yeah, just like what Abiba mentioned, fund, the transaction, that's. Do you still want to add more?
I just wanted to explain, but you have explained it already.
Thanks so much. Favor, I thought you want to make mention of one.
The partners involved, sometimes people, politically exposed individuals tend to get capitals from big head office, most of their transactions. When it has to do with exposed people, you will see those in the head office authorizing their listing immediately. In order to maintain the business relationship they've already had with those individuals.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So those are what we'll be looking at, what organization structure, and these are we'll be looking at what various what factors. So this is just a brief on that. We'll go so long. Let's go to number 3. Just be taking it one briefly. We'll be looking at business environment, and we say that word. We have basically 2 types of business environment. We have the internal business environment, and we also have the external business environment. So what I'm now going to limit it, we are going to be looking at one model that we can use to assess business environment. We'll be looking at what model that we can use to assess what business environment. And I want you to please don't forget these 2 models that we'll be looking at. We'll be looking at SWOT, and we'll be looking at what PESTEL. So if I want to assess a business environment, if I want to assess a business environment in Nigeria now, what are the tools that I can use to determine whether our business environment is favorable or our business environment is not favorable? Don't forget, business environment is divided into this is just a general overview. Business environment is divided into 2. There's internal and there's external. So majority of the time in this our syllabus, we'll be looking at more on external. Why? Because external business environment, you don't have control over it. You don't have control over your external business environment. Some of us can remember these people. You can see there was a time that MTN declared a loss in 2023, I think. They also declared that in 2014. So MTN and some of the telecom has been asking the federal government to approve the increase in tariff from the moment that the new administration came in, when they devalued the currency. So MTN has been saying that they should, I think they're even advocating for 100% increase. I think what was approved was 50% happy. So MTN does not have control. They can only influence, they can only make noise that, please, federal government, some of the equipment that we are using, some of our fiber, our antenna, they are not locally made. We import it from we bring it from another country, and we are exposed to the volatility in our exchange rate. Before we are still seeing it as CBN at maybe 600, but now maybe it's around 1514. So due to that, they will be influencing the government that the government should approve the increase in tariff. But they don't have the power to say that, okay, my own is going to be this. No. You can only all those business can only say that, okay, please approve. So the federal government do the approval for them. So external business environment, you as an organization, you don't have control over it. No. MTN cannot wake up one day and say that, federal government, you must do this thing. No. And maybe some of us that you work in the banking. I think there was there are some bank now that CBN has them not to pay dividend. So if CBN, even though you have you have the capacity to pay dividend, but your regulator is saying that you must not pay. So there's nothing that you can do. So in your external business environment, you don't have control over it. The only control that you have in your business environment is your internal. You have control over your internal business environment, but you don't have control over your external business environment. So what are some of the tools that we can use to assess our business our external business environment? We have what we call SWOT, which is in your syllabus, and we also have what we call PESTEL. So who can try? The S stand for what? Maybe some of us have in our undergraduate, or maybe I have some business students. Okay, thank you so much. So please write it just for the beginning. If some of us could have. So X is for what? For strength. What of W?
Weakness.
Weakness. Okay. So X is for strength. W is for weakness. What of the O?
Opportunity.
Opportunity. Please. And the last one is what? The T.
Threat.
Right. Okay. So that's it. So please help me to write this one in full for the, if you, some of us maybe just it has been long. So SWOT, just X is for what? For strength. W is for what? For weakness. O is what? Opportunity. And T is for threat. And I want to tell you something now. You see, the strength and weakness, they are internal factors. Strength and weakness are internal factors. While opportunity and threat, they are external factors. The first two is an internal factors. The last two is what? Is an external factors. Your strength and weakness there is within your organization. It's not what? It's not outside. Your strength and weakness is what? Is within. While the opportunity and trend they are what? They are outside of your organization. Opportunity is what? Is outside. So as you are striving for what now? For opportunity, because you need to go out for you to see the opportunity. Please, you also need to try as much as possible to make sure that you reduce the threats, you reduce the problem. Once there's opportunity, there's problem. So as a business manager, what you should be interested or what you should strive for is a balance. More opportunity, reduce the problem. More opportunity, then try as much as possible to reduce the problem. So that is one tool that we can use to assess our business environment. The next one is what is personal. So the P stands for what? Please, let me to write it for is here. Maybe it has been long. So the P is for what? Political. We have economy, social cultural, the technology, the environmental, the legal. So we call it what? Pestel. So P is what? Political. The economic, the social, the technology, the environment, and we also have the what? The legal. So please write it in full. So these are the tools that we are also going to be looking at to what? To assess our what? Our business what? Our business environment. So how many tools now? 2, SWOT, and what? And PESTEL. So please, these are very, very important things. And in our business environment, another very important thing is that we're also going to be looking at while we move on to syllabus section B. Don't forget, this is just a general overview, just to take you through what we have in our syllabus. And by next week, Sunday, by God's grace, then we'll start from chapter 1. So we'll also be looking at what we call what? CSR, corporate social responsibility. So the idea of CSR is about you what? Giving back. It's about you giving back to the world. It's about you giving back to the society. Because the society allows business to use their resources. Let's say, for example, now your organization that would you engage in oil and gas. Okay? You extract the crude, you refine it, you sell. Where do you what? This crude come from where? Oh, our rig is in what? Is in Delta. One of our rig is in what? Is in Bayelsa. We have one in what? In Rivers. We have one in what? In Akwa Ibom. I think they also discover oil in what? In Edo State as well. At least I know that what is coming from the world, from the south. So as an organization as well, it is also very what important for you to give back to the people of what Bayelsa. Because where do you get your input from? It's from Bayelsa. So that is what now CSR. You give it back. Now, there are basically two schools of thought when it comes to CSR. There's what we call the social school of thought. And there's also what we call the managerial capitalism school of thought. Let me explain the managerial capitalism school of thought. What the managerial capitalism school of thought is saying is that organizations should not engage in CSR. Organization should not what? Should not engage in what? In CSR. That is what the managerial capitalism school of thought is what it's saying. But the social school of thought encourage organizations to engage in what? In CSR. That please do it. They encourage organizations to what? To give back to the society. Your input is coming from the what? From the society. It is also the society that absorb your what? Your output. So you must also what? You must also give back. So let me now ask this question, if some of us can try. Why do you think that what the managerial capitalism school of thought is saying that organizations should not engage in CSR? What do you think is the reason why they're saying that, oh, organizations don't engage in CSR? Maybe to some of us, you can remember during our undergraduate, there's some building, there's some ETF. That is not what. That is, or maybe some company that renovate that word, that ETF. So, okay, Mr. Odenyinka, your hand is up, please. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes. Yes, sir.
What do you think? Yeah.
This is coming from a practical experience. I think why that is happening is most companies use that as an opportunity to reduce their liability, tax liability. Yes. So I think I've been opportunity to be with two different companies that FRS, they wrote back the CSR into profit to charge them. they see it as an avenue to reduce their.
But it's unaliable now. Or maybe they investigate and discover that amount is not.
It's humongous, yes.
So that's
hundreds of millions. So
yeah, because that's another one. That's another area some company can hide on. I engage. Oh, I repair ETF in what in University of Ilorin. Oh, I repair certain ETF in what in University of what River State University. So they will just and they will manipulate the word. The figure will go up, and as a result of that, it can because it's a tax liable expense. So now, one of the reasons. Okay, anybody, do you want to try? Maybe from academic or from practical work perspective. Why do you think they support the managerial capitalism that is saying that companies should not engage in CSR? One of their comments is you're already paying tax. It is the responsibility of the government. I hope every one of us will agree with that. Our class, yeah, that's one of the arguments of the managerial capitalism school. That just pay the tax and leave the societal problem, leave it for the government. It's like, for example, let me say this. There's one of my friends. It's not my own, no. I think they are trying to do what do we used to call this? They are trying to contribute some certain money so that they will use it to do some repair in their primary school. It's just like, for example, now maybe some of us, maybe in our university when we graduate, then, or maybe you go back to some of our university and you discover that the department, maybe there's the AC is not working. So I'm not thinking of accounting set of maybe 1995 is not thinking of having another we should change all the AC in accounting department. If you look at it very well, is that our own responsibility? And people should support what I'm saying. Mr. Yinka. No, it's not.
I don't think that is corporate social responsibility, actually, because from the term corporate social responsibility, we are talking of
the company
something that you do for the indigents of that very place.
But
you as an alumni, you are just giving back. You are just giving back something as an appreciation to the department.
It's still corporate social responsibility.
Okay, Mr. I can just hold on. Okay, let me remove the corporate now. I'll now call it social responsibility.
Exactly.
So I can engage in social responsibility as an individual, company can also engage in what? In social responsibility. The one that they're asking, oh, once you come and donate, let's repair accounting department EC. That one is like, it's still like a social responsibility, but it's coming from me as an individual, not the company. Oh, there's no enough book in accounting library in my school now, and they're asking us to donate. So if I look at it from the managerial capitalism, it's like, it's not my duty to do it.
But sir, please, I want to ask this question. What's the difference between philanthropy and corporate social responsibility?
And you see, we see the idea of what CSR is like philanthropy. That is the way the traditional management sees CSR. They see it as if it was a philanthropy. But there's a new one, there's a modern way of doing CSR. And that one is not in your syllabus, but if you have time, you can read about it. I'll send the link. We call it what? Creating what? What do we call it? Creating share values. CSV. If you have what? If you have time, you can let me send the link. And it was developed by what? By Michael Porter. So this one is more like what? You see, under creating share value. In creating share value, I will not be dashing what? I will not be, okay, let me repair the AC. Or the company will not say, okay, let's repair this ETF in Uniport now. No. What the company will be thinking of is what? As I'm thinking about my own success, I will also be thinking about the society of success. Like, for example, now, in India, Nestle engage some of the farmer. Like Nestle provide some of the farmers in India with some tractor that can help them to engage in their farming. So you can see now that if I provide the tools to the farmers, if they want to sell their make or some of their output, are they not going to sell it to me? Mr. Inka?
Yes, sir.
I provide the input to the farmer that, okay, it's like me just dashing you. Then if you want to sell your output as well, you also sell it to me because Nestle need the milk to carry out their activities. Yes. So that is what creating share value. It's not as if though I will just be dashing you money. No. It's like, for example, now I'm looking for work. So rather than what, Mr. Yin, can you give, okay, well, so you take 10,000 naira. Oh, no. That is the way CSR work. You see a deficiency and I was like, okay, I'll give you money, I'll repair it for you. But creating share value, you see it in this way by, I will not give you money. I would rather what? Find a work for you. Mr. Mohammed, I hope you understand it. So the old CSR is like philanthropy, just let's dash people. Like, for example, okay, they ask us to contribute money to repair accounting department AC. That is like a word CSR. That's like philanthropy, just giving back. But if you want to create what share value now, maybe some of the ex-student now that you're already in the public sector or you have access to the government, then we need to be saying, okay, look at the world where you graduated from. Some of your lecturer, there's no AC and your own office. So that is like what? It's not as if just repairing it or it's not as if just dashing them money. It's like, because it's just like, for example, now I come to work to Mr. Inka today. That I need money, send me money. You send me today, tomorrow. It will get to a time like your wala is too much. But if you're able to find me work now, I will not disturb you anymore. I hope you guys are getting the difference between the two. So I think let me send this. Yes, if you have time, just read through it. They're very interesting. That's like the modern way words of CSR. So let's go. Creating share value, CSV. They're very interesting. So I think that is that. That's the syllabus section, what A. So let's talk about syllabus section B, which is what the role of what you as an accountant in the business and in the society. What's your role? So these are some of the role as an accountant you do. Financial reporting, treasury, and management accounting. These are some of your roles. They say leads the role and the accounting function within an organization. Even is beyond this, but this is what your syllabus limits it to. This is what they are saying. 3, we have tax. Maybe some of us in our organization now, if you need your what do we used to call this thing? So maybe at the end of the year, you need your tax clearance certificate. Issue what? It's not finance that you go to. You should go to the tax team about your tax clearance certificate. So, but here now, that is also what another role or accounting function. We can do tax, but here is 3. Let's say financial reporting, management accounting, and treasury. So they also explain internal check and internal control. So when we say internal check, can anybody try? Then me, I will explain internal control. When I say something is internal check, what do you think they are referring to? Elena, I want you to try. Just look at it from the word internal check. And do you think that there's any difference between internal check and internal control? For example, when we started this particular general overview class, I make mention that, the subject is what business environment. And I make mention earlier that there are basically 2 types of business environment. There's internal and there's also what external. We'll be talking more of the external. So, because the organization, you don't have control over your external environment. You only have control over your internal. And one of the ways you can control your internal environment is by having a good policy. I don't know if some of us remember that I make mention. By having a good policy. And not just developing the policy, you also need to make sure that the policy is working. And for you to make sure that the policy is working, it means that there's a certain individual that will be responsible to check it. There will be some certain individual that, their own duty is to check whether we comply with what the policy is saying. And that is your internal control department. That will be the work of your internal audit team to make sure that everybody comply with the policy. You must resume by 9 a.m. and everybody must clock in. The log of that biometric, the internal auditor should have access to it. Not only your HR. Your IT will have access to that log. Now, Mr. Inkana, before you enter, you must work every day. When you resume, you clock in. When you are leaving, you clock in. If you guys have that policy that everybody, Monday to Friday, you start by by 9 and you close by You close by 4. So if that policy is there, then there must be a department that is checking, that will check the log. When you clock in, there's already a record. A log will be created that will check that, Mr. Inka, you resume by 8:30. When do you leave the office? Let's say you leave by 4:30. That there's already a policy saying that. There must be an individual that will be checking whether employee will actually resume at the stated time. So from the word internal check, and there's a lot of words. The internal check, who perform the internal check? Is your internal audit team. Maybe some of us, you work in the internal audit. Maybe you work in the rigs or you work in the wards. Whatever any unit, you can do some internal check. And which is usually from here now, they are seeing it from the word your internal auditor. They will do the internal check. They can come to the finance department. They can go to the HR that, I want to see the words. I want to see the word. They can do a payroll audit. That, as at June, the total payroll cost is 50 million. They will just do some sampling. You pay 1.5 to this particular individual. Is that what was stated in the contract? And as an internal audit team, they have access to all record. So we'll be looking at your role as you preparing the account, you preparing the management account, you making sure that the company, we have a good cash management. Sometimes they used to say cash is king. So how do you make sure as an accountant that, oh, there's a worth, you have a cash asset when due? Because sometimes when we get to treasury management, there's something we'll be making reference to. And I usually have this question. Between profitability and liquidity, which one do you think is important? And let me explain it before we even get there. When we say profitability, from the word profitability, that every year you are declaring profit. Liquidity, when we say you are liquid, it means that if 1,000 is due today, you are owing someone 1,000 and the due date is what is today, you are going to pay today. That is what we call liquid. If I say that, oh, you are liquid, it means that you have the ability to pay as at what, as at when due. That is liquidity. So now, let me now ask now, which one do you think is important? Liquidity or profitability? Liquidity is that, oh, if Nigeria is owing World Bank now, and this particular money is going to be due, let's say by 31st of December, and federal government pay as at when due, it means that what? We are liquid. Federal government is what is liquid. Okay? But let me now explain profitability. Profitability now is that, okay, our budget is what is deficit. The expenditure is greater than the revenue. So from a business perspective, federal government is not what? Federal government is not, the profitability is not there. But is federal government liquid? If federal government is owing you 10,000 naira, did federal government have the ability to pay that 10,000 naira? If the federal government have the ability to pay that 10,000 as at when due, it means federal government is what? Is liquid. But federal government is not what? Is not making profit because the expenditure is greater than the revenue. So they are maintaining a deficit budget. So, and I want to ask to class now. Which one do you think is important? Someone should try.
I'd rather be profitable than be liquid. Because in no time, even the Nigeria will crash in no time.
No, Nigeria cannot crash. No, because
it's better to be, to the best of my knowledge, I think it's better to be profitable than to be liquid.
Okay, for example, now if you are not liquid, it means that I'll be what? It's like I'll be bashing you that you should come and pay my money. What about the reputational risk? Oh, Mr. Inka, you are owing me money. You're not able to pay on time. Do you think of that?
Yeah, I'm thinking of that, but
all right, no problem. It's an option. Anybody else? Which one do you think is good? Profitability or liquidity? People of God. Abiba, which one do you think is good? Being profitable or being liquid? And to be honest with you, federal government is liquid. So maybe if there's any debt instrument that is issued by what? DMO. I think last week there was a shuku. You should buy. Yes, Abiba, what do you say?
I would say liquid because of like long-term reputation, and as you said, if you are owing someone, it's not look good for that business. So being liquid, being able to cover for those loans you're owing, profit to come, but being liquid, I feel like it's just like a basic standard.
Yeah, at least Abiba, thanks so much. At least you are saying it from the way I'm saying it. That's sometimes I can borrow money from what? There's a way people do in finance. And let me tell you something. There's a difference between what religion, and there's a difference between what we are being taught in school. If it is from what, at least I'm a Muslim, and if it is from religion perspective, debt is not good. But if it is what I've been taught, maybe what I'm doing, I would say debt is good. Because even from religion perspective, if someone die in Islam, it is the responsibility of the family to make sure that they pay the debt. And that's why when someone is doing funeral, It's a family responsibility to make announcement that, oh, our great-grandfather is no more. If he's owing you, please come. It's the responsibility of the family to do that declaration and to pay it off, even if that person is no more alive. So that is that. But from finance perspective, finance see things as the see credit is a very, very good thing. And let me explain it for you. And in Africa, to be honest, we see debt as something that is bad. But in the West sees something as something you have to take it.
It's part of life.
It's their hand, it's their own world. It's like all these things that we are learning, they are the one that bring it. So, like for example, if you look at maybe you travel to some of the world, the Europe, and you want to buy something in their world, in their shop, and you want to pay outright, they'll say that they don't have. You have to what? You have to buy it on credit. Maybe you pay in what in 12 months time, or you pay in what in 2 years. And that's why in their world, their economic is what? It is only in Africa that most of our economic is not based on credit economy. In the West, their economy is based on what? Credit economy. In terms of what? So far that you are working, you can afford anything. And that's why they pay more important on what? On credit scores. And I think federal government is trying to introduce that as well. That, a credit score will be embedded in your what? In your NIN. So through that credit scores, I can able to know whether you are good or you are not. So it depends on the way that you're looking at it from. Liquidity is good and profitability is also good as well, to be honest. It depends on the life cycle of the business, and it depends on the nature of the business as well. Because you can declare profit, but your revenue is what is credit sales. It's what is credit sales. It's not say, you say 2 billion revenue now. It's not say you have that money. It's true what? It's true credit. So you can be declaring profit, but you are not liquid. Oh, all right, we'll get there. So there's no one that is not good. We'll be looking at what code of ethics and code of corporate governance. And let me say so, in ethics, as an accountant, you have 5 fundamental principles. And don't forget these 5 fundamental principles. 5 fundamental principles as an accountant. Please always maintain this. Number 1 is what? Is integrity. We have what we call objectivity, professional competence and due care, professional behavior, and confidentiality. So what are our 5 fundamental principles? The 5 fundamental principles are what? Integrity. We have objectivities, professional competence and due care, professional behavior, and we also have what? Confidentiality. So as an accountant, please always try as much as possible to maintain this word fundamental principle. And there's an exemption to that. And the exemption is coming in what? In confidentiality. If you know that your company is doing things that is against the public policy, you need to what? You need to disclose that. Your company is what? Is engaging in what? In money laundering, human trafficking, anything that is against the public policy. Then the principle of confidentiality does not hold in that situation. It's your responsibility as an accountant to disclose to the public. Oh, these people are engaging in what? Terrorism finance. They are engaging in what? In money laundering, human trafficking, or anything that you discover that it is against the public policy. Okay, but if you feel that your company is not doing anything that is against the public policy, it's not what? You should know what? You should not disclose that information to external party. So those are what? Our 5 fundamental principles. Please don't forget integrity, objectivities, professional competence and due care, professional behavior, and we also have what we call what? Confidentiality. So we'll be looking at what each of these as we are moving on. So that is our fundamental principle of ethics. The fundamental principle. The fundamental principle is what? As far. So we're also looking at corporate governance. And when we say corporate governance is the way by which a company is being controlled and directed. And that is the definition that was given by Cadbury report. Cadbury report defined corporate governance as a way by which company is being controlled and directed. When we say something is governance deal with control and direction. control and direction. So we'll look at what we'll talk about briefly on corporate governance. And another one before I leave here is what? Acting in what? What does it mean? Can anybody try? Can you try to explain this concept? Acting in public interest. From the word, what do you think is saying? Let me say acting in public interest. Can anybody try? Look at it. Examiner say what? Explain the concept of acting in what? In public interest. Explain the concept of acting in what? In public interest. So as an accountant, the public interest comes first before your employer interest. That is one. The public interest comes first before your employer interest. And that's why I say what I mentioned earlier, that if you discover that your company is doing things that is against the public policy, it is your duty as an accountant to disclose that. So that is what we call acting in public interest. You should defend the public. So the regulations see you as a defender of public policy, just like the way CBN will try to defend error. So you should always try as much as possible to protect the public. So whenever you are doing things that will protect the public, then it means that you are acting in public interest. And don't forget, the public interest will come first before your employer interest. If you discover that your employer is doing things that is against the public policy, it is your duty to disclose. The principle of confidentiality does not hold in that situation. So when we say acting in public interest, it means that as you as an accountant, you see yourself as a defender of the public interest. Then the last one, we'll also be looking at action that could create ethical conflict. And let me also say this, you can note it down, trying to fundamental principle. We have a fundamental principle now. What are the 5 fundamental principles? We have integrity, objectivity, professional competence and due care, professional behavior, and we also have confidentiality. So another thing now is, what are some of the things, what are the threats that will not make us to comply with the fundamental principle? So we have what we call threats to the fundamental principle, and there are also 5. We have what we call advocacy threat, we have what we call familiarity, we have intimidation, we have self-review, and we also have what we call self-interest. And I used to remember it using this mnemonic. I call it so the A is for what? Is for advocacy. A is for what? A is for advocacy. F is what? Familiarity. We have intimidation, we have self-review, and we also have what? Self-interest. And the fundamental principle, you can remember it using IPPC. So under the fundamental principle, you have what? Integrity, objectivities, professional competence and due care, professional behavior, and we also have what? Confidentiality. Under trend to the fundamental principle, we have what? Advocacy, familiarity, intimidation, self-review, and self-interest. So those are the threats to the fundamental principle. We'll be looking at them one after the other. So our time is okay, we still have some time. We have the syllabus section C, which is deal with management and organization behavior. Management and organization behavior. So just like I mentioned earlier, these are management functions. These are some of the things that management would do. They will engage in planning. Please don't forget, you can see C say, explain the following basic management function. They are important and application in the field of in the field of accounting. So what are the basic management functions? In your syllabus, they say that planning, organizing, controlling, you coordinate, you direct, you supervise. So these are the These are the basic words management function that we have in our syllabus. We have the word the planning, the organizing, the controlling, the coordinating. You direct, and you also do what? You supervise. So that is on the word, the basic management function. Please let me to note it down. At least we are still going to be looking at them one after the other. At least at the end of this class, even though it is one thing that you can able to pick, that is just the word, that is a goal. The goal is just for what? Just for you to know a little bit of what we are still going to discuss as we are going till, I think, till October. And this is July, so maybe some of these things we get to maybe September in some one time, we may not be there yet, but at least you have it at the back of your mind that some of these things is likely to come. So these are the basic. Please just note it down in your text. We have planning, we have organizing, you have control, you coordinate, you direct, you supervise. Then we'll move on to the second section of syllabus section C, which is what? Management, individual and organization behavior. And you see, the most important things in organization behavior is motivation. And that's why I think I make mention that earlier, is what? Is motivation. And we have what different theory when it's come to what? To motivation. Maybe I think they have reduced some. That's fine. So, and they say what? Explain the concept of employee motivation in relationship with their productivities. And there are some research that has been conducted that shows that, motivation have a positive relationship. It has a positive correlation to what? To employee productivities. Like, if the management can guarantee you that, if we can achieve that 2 billion revenue, will give us 5% of it as bonus at the end of the year. So that is that. So, and the head is saying that state and explain the various management theory with emphasis on scientific, the administrative, and other management theory. I'm sure that maybe some of us that maybe we study management science, like maybe business administration, this will remember some of these things. Like Eric Fryo, I think, yeah, Eric Fryo is there. A very popular man in management there. So these are words. We have what we call the scientific school of thought. We have the modern school of thought. We also have what we call the administrative school of thought. In the administrative school of thought, we'll be looking at bureaucracy. And bureaucracy, I think, is by Max Weber. So those are some of the things we'll be looking at. We'll be looking at here. So what we'll be looking at was the uses of technology business modeling. We'll be looking a little bit of project management. We'll be looking at what emotional intelligence. And these are what social thinking. These are some of the soft skills. That is embedded in your syllabus. Like emotional intelligence is the soft skills that at least every one of us we should try as much as possible to have. Even though if things is not going well in the office, just be calm. Don't let it was. Sometimes maybe the mountain may not be fine sometimes, but just be cool. At least you need to go out, you need to calm. At least don't use some of the world, maybe some of the challenges that we are facing in our own personal life, and we start passing it to our work, to our colleagues. So even though, just take everything very calm. Social thinking in terms of what don't only look about yourself. You have to look about our colleague as well. So those are some of the things that we'll be looking at we'll be looking at management function. We'll be looking at words, different types of we'll be looking at organization culture. So it's also a very important thing here. We're looking at organization culture. And organization culture varies. This is what UBA was. This is UBA Nigeria. It's different from what UBA Ghana. So despite that, maybe their reporting or at the end of the day, their consolidated account is the same. But due to the fact that this is UBA Ghana and this is UBA Nigeria, their organization culture varies. And maybe some of us that our organization have have some office in another word, in another country, the culture is not what is not the same. And to be honest, at least just like I've made mentioned earlier, I've related with words, at least people in words in Ghana and people in words in my own country as Nigeria, and I can see it's not what the culture is not the same. Even though it's the same organization, but oh, this one is in what is in Ghana, this one is in what is in VI. Our culture is quite the same. Even when you interact with them, you feel like, but maybe it's because they have a strong labor law. Because if you have a strong labor law, management will not just what their 5 o'clock is their 5 o'clock. But maybe some of us in Nigeria, yeah, maybe by 5 o'clock, that's when the work starts. When you send the mail to people in Ghana and it's already their closing time, you're like, well, see you, I can't send it till Monday. But if I call one of my colleagues in Nigeria and I'm like, okay, please, I need this particular report. Okay, well, see, I'll forward it to you. You can just on his laptop and send it. But those in they will not, to be honest. So the culture word varies due to the geographical area that we are, and that word. We'll also be looking at organization culture. That what are some of the factors that cause difference in our organization? Organization culture. So that is there. Then we'll be looking at communication and what in business. We need to communicate. How do we send information out? That's like, oh, if something happened now, at least every organization used to have both corporate, what they used to call it, investor relation. Maybe there's any negative information about your company, there should be a certain department that will do what? There should be a certain department that will send the information out. Oh, this thing does not originated from us. This is our view. We should be able to communicate back to the public. Don't just keep quiet. So these are some of the things that some of us will know, like what are barriers to effective word communication. The channels of communications can serve as a barrier. Because for communication to be effective, then the channels that we are using must also be very, very convenient. To the words, especially to the receiver. The channels of communication must be very, very, if it is not, it will serve as a barrier. And the language that we are using during the communication, it's also another thing. Because let's say, for example, now you as an accountant and you're communicating to a non-finance professional. Your language must be very, very must be very, very easy in terms so that the other party will able to they were able to understand it. So we have different communication pattern. There are some communication that can there's what we call upward communication. We'll be looking at that. There's also what we call downward communication. So there are different patterns of communication that can exist within organization. Also, we'll be looking at digital communication, like most of the one that we are all used to, like the email. You can send a mail through your maybe our Outlook, or maybe through the Google or the Yahoo or any other platform that we are using. So some of this digital communication, we can also use it for marketing purpose as well. So there are some organization words. Okay, maybe you have registered with us before. So at least once I have your mail, I can use it to communicate that. Oh, just like for example now, some of us here, hi OTU, indirectly or directly, they will have your email. So maybe by next diet is starting, and they can communicate to you that, oh, our next diet in May 2026 is starting by this so date. So they can use it as a marketing strategy as well. So, and the last the second to the last aspect of our syllabus is the element of macro and the micro environment. So here we'll be looking at what some of us can remember, maybe some of the things that we discussed in our which subject is this in economics. Like we used to talk about theory of cost. Some of us will remember utility theory, all those elasticity of demand, market structure. So all those information we'll also be looking at them, but not as, I don't know, it's not really going to be more detailed like the one we come across in our secondary school there. but just like from a different perspective. So basic economic concept, what is the difference between what macro and what a micro environment? We'll be looking at what is demand, what is supply, what are the different abnormal demand curve, the normal demand curve, elasticity of what of demand and the supply. So anything that has to do with what theory of demand and supply, we'll be looking at that as well. We'll be looking at theory of cost, which is something number 3. Some of us will remember that. We'll also be looking at what market structure, the monopoly. There are different market structure that can exist. Then we'll also be looking at what market failure, which is also what this one was newly added. Oh, what can cause a market to fail? That is what can cause organization to fail as well. So we'll be looking at what national income. Some of us will remember national income. We'll be looking at what the financial institution, what's the role of what the central bank, some of the other financial institution that we have. What are some of the tools that is used in different market? What are some of the tools that we use in capital market? What are some of the tools that we use in the money market as well? So that's just it. And the last aspect will be what? It would be the IT part, like the e-commerce. Imagine technology and the accountancy profession, like the fintech, the statistical modeling, the IoT, Internet of a Thing, the cloud computing. So these are what the IT aspect that we are going to be looking at. So like different words, and your syllabus also give mention of what some business that some of us that works we are used to, like the Amazon, the eBay, the Conga, Gingy, and like the rest of them like that. In terms of what e-commerce. So apart from e-commerce, we'll be looking at what emerging technology. So this one is very short, just 3. We'll be looking at e-commerce. We'll be looking at what the emerging technology, the new technology that just come, and we'll be looking at why do we use what are the uses of IT? What do we use information technology for? And apart from that, we'll also be explaining what are database, different types of database that we have. We can have the rational database. What is referential integrity? What are foreign key? What are primary key? What are related tables? So, and we also have AI, but don't worry, it's not as it's not very deep. But when we get to the next level, there's also the advanced part of the world of the IT will also be implemented. What are some of the cyber security? How can we protect ourselves from cyber attack? Now that majority of our business operation is through the use of IT. What are the different ERP that we have? At least maybe some of us, I'm very sure some of us use different ERP to carry out our business activities in our various organizations. So the technology aspect was just newly added, but they are not it's not that very intensive. So this is just the general overview of the syllabus. And the final note, don't forget, it's divided into 5. The business process and environment, the role of the professional accountant in business and the society, the management and organization behavior, what are the elements of economics, and we'll also be looking at the technology and the data analytics part. So by next week, we'll start from the first part, which is the nature of words. So by next week, we'll start from this, which is the nature of business, the types of business, and their objective. And I'm sure you guys will. One is very this first aspect that we'll be starting with next week Sunday to be very we'll be familiar with it, because it's something that we have come across it before, like what is proprietorship, what is partnership, the LTD, the NGO, the public sector, the alliance, the cooperative society, and we also have the joint venture. So that's going to be the subject matter of our next class, which is the number 1, the nature of business, the types, and their objective. And especially majority like the sole proprietorship, the partnership, the LTD, they are for what? They are for profit making. That is like what? Except the NGO, maybe some cooperative society, I think is to serve their member. I think cooperative society don't usually make profit like that, happy. The majority, apart from the government, even the NGO, I don't think NGO is for profit as well. But the first three, the sole proprietorship, the LTD, the limited one, and the joint ventures, even the alliance as well, the purpose of alliance, the purpose of joint venture, sole proprietorship, partnership, and limited liability company is for what? There's an element of what? There's an element of profit. So we'll send the note before the class as well, and then it will be very, very interesting. Just try as much as possible to ask questions, and I pray that every one of us will want to pass by God's grace. So, is there any question before we call it a day? Any question, please?
Sorry, sir. So the technology and data analysis, does that mean they brought IT from MI to business environment?
It's not like they brought is a little bit different from the what you have in the previous one, MI, because in the management accounting now there's no IT anymore. So
Yes,
they just try to they just try to split it a little bit, but they just it's still like, because in the previous one there's some IT that was developed that was not like the blockchain is not in the world, it's not in the foundation level before.
Okay.
Yeah, but they just try to introduce it. Okay, I think that was a message. Okay, don't worry. I'll share the syllabus again. Maybe some of us that just joined, you see it. And don't forget, in the next class, we'll be looking at this. Maybe you can read it ahead, but I'm sure that some of us will remember all these words. So just focus on the first part, which is the number one, nature of business, type, and an objective. That is what we'll be discussing in our next class by God grace. So thank you, everyone. And this is what we'll start for today. And in our president voice, enjoy your weekend.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right, now, bye, everyone.
Bye, sir.
Bye.
Bye.